There we go. Update. I hit that too fast. And now on Substack. So as Substack goes live, we'll go through introductions. Should be up now, actually. Here we go. There we go. Oh, there's even a Brandon there. Thank you for watching the chat, by the way, Miranda. Welcome, everybody, to What Survived the Morning. I'm your host, Wendy The Druid. Wendy Weber, my co-host, Miranda, and my fellow co-host, Brandon Elrich, the fabulous, most gay writer ever on the face of the earth. Super gay.
I don't know.
On Pride Month, no less, but I feel sad because I can't celebrate Pride in Atlanta because Pride in Atlanta doesn't happen until October, and that's very sad.
I kind of like that, though, the fact that they spread things out beyond just June, because I don't know, it seems like the month of June's over and it's like nothing more. But if you got it some in July and September and October, you kind of spreads out, you know.
Yeah, spread out our heat exhaustion.
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
So Brandon, did you participate in any Pride activities over the weekend?
Nope.
Well, okay.
I got up and felt like, well, I wrote an article about it, actually.
Oh, tell us about it.
I said, send in the coyotes and drop the ceiling fan. I'm just done. I just didn't feel like I felt completely unmotivated when I got up on Saturday and kind of what's the point and all that kind of stuff. So I did not.
I mean, I think we all feel that at random times. I mean, there's like an exhaustion that happens because I don't know. I mean, the human social battery like literally only goes so far. And then after that, it's sort of like, well, shit. You know, what do I do now? Or how do I deal with that? Or how do I manage that? It's just, it's hard. Did you do any Pride? You didn't do any Pride activities the weekend, did you, Miranda?
We went up to Estes Park. We were planning to go to the Pride, but Moon got sick on our way up there, so we had to change plans.
Plans are what that's about. So when I got up today to do the digest, I went to my usual sources, and so the first one I went to, there was this splash of all these Republicans who have spent the year terrified of, Trump. And so now they're leaving the boat. So there are like en masse. I mean, like the last time articles of impeachment hit the floor, like 6 senators who are GOP senators said, yes, it's time to impeach him. Or reps said, yes, it's time to impeach him. They tried to do the War Powers Act last week to stop Trump from engaging in the Iranian war. And 7 Republican senators jumped the aisle to support that. But then the Senate defeated it. So we're starting to sort of see that wave happen, but it's not strong enough. I mean, people that I talked to today were like, yeah, but it's too little too late. Those assholes dug their own grave, going into that, and now for them to go, whoa, 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 hold on. On top of that, Orange Shit Pantser has said that the ballroom needs to be finished so that the drone installation that goes on top of the ballroom can protect the White House. Because they're going to put drones on top of the ballroom. And then on top of all of that, like my sister who lives in Rockville, Maryland, has said, like, when you drive by the White House, there's this UFC shit all over the front of it, and it looks just perpetually ugly. And so now there's like 2 interest groups that are trying to sue the administration for doing that to the White House. So I don't know. I saw some meme today in the space, either was Instagram or Pixelfed, where they had taken the Thunderdome dome from the Mad Max movie and transposed that on top of the White House with the phrase "2 men enter, 1 man leaves." And so over the weekend, I hilariously joked. So I want your opinions about this. So if there's going to be a UFC fight in front of the White House, does that mean that Trump, in like communist-like fashion, gets to walk up to a big crowd of people and go, like the Roman emperor? Is that where we are?
Yeah, it's something like that.
What am I even supposed to do with that? What do you guys think we're supposed to do with that? Because I have no idea.
I don't know. They're trying to give us bread and circus. They're not giving us any bread. They're giving us extra circus. It's all ridiculous.
Wait it out, I guess. I mean, what else can you do?
Rome is the mob. Rule the mob and you'll rule the city, right? I think the mob is tired. I think the mob is tired of going to the grocery store and spending $280 to buy a week's worth of groceries. I don't know about you guys, but I'm completely exhausted of that idea. It burned me out so much that I can't even think about it. So, we're going right into that. Get this. So, 157 candidates have been examined, and of those 157 candidates, all of them were gay or queer. And so an interest group did a study. Get this. Gay and queer candidates have as much viability, or in many cases better viability, than straight candidates for public office. So, what does that say? I'm happy that McBride is a House member, but I would never have thought in my lifetime I'd see Bride take office as a trans person. I didn't think that I'd ever see that happen.
So does that give us cause for some hope?
I think that it does. Brandon, what kind of hope does it inspire in you?
That people are being tired of what they're seeing and they're like, okay, well, maybe we should go a different direction. Maybe we were wrong about supporting certain people, and maybe we need to look elsewhere.
So over the weekend, Saturday Night Live did a bit where it's a mom and the family, and they're doing the intervention, and the mom is like, okay, I'm going to tell you, maybe I was wrong about Trump. And then the family is all like, oh my God, finally, you're a fucking idiot. But I mean, I think that's the case for a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people who wanted to believe in him, and it turns out that they couldn't. And so it's like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And so you have like I checked Rasmussen this morning. And let's be clear. So Rasmussen is infamously known for only polling Republicans versus Discuss or Ipsos or one of those other sources. But I prefer Rasmussen because Rasmussen polls Republicans only. They're infamously known for this. And currently, idiots like strongly disapprove rating is 50%, and his strongly approve rating is 24, which means he's 25 in the negative with Republicans in total. Again, assuming that Rasmussen continued to only poll Republicans. They've been known for that for quite a while, but that's, and so the starting way back at the beginning of his term, where the approval was higher than the disapproval, it's getting wider and wider. And I mean, it's getting so bad now that like Bill Maher can fucking, say bad shit about Trump, and it just upsets him and causes Trump to attack Bill Maher on Truth Social and shit, get under his skin or whatever. It's like, well, fuck. So with that, I'll just go right into today's narrative. So yes, I quoted Pat Parker, and Pat Parker says, "Brother, I don't want to hear about how my real enemy is the system. I'm no genius, but I do know that that system you hit me with is called a fist," and it is. Parker wrote that to men on her side who kept abstracting what she was writing, her pain, into theory. Read it against today, and it still draws the same blood as it drew, elsewhere. The fist in the dried up oceans that are happening, the fist in the booth that punishes a soft voice as a name. Naming the system is not naming the hand, and the hand is what hits you. And so I then, whose comfort am I or was I protecting? So from my perspective, mine. I have to say it plainly, my comfort. It was so much easier to say, oh, it's just structural transphobia, than to name the guy who said the thing, the lawmaker whose hand is on some bill that decides whether I get hormones next year or not, the platform that wrote the policy that calls it safety. Abstraction is an anesthetic, and I've used it on myself. I've dosed myself with theory so that I didn't have to feel that specific knuckle from that specific fist on the side of my face. And let's be honest, I'd love for fists to go into other places than against my face.
Well,
You're more adventurous in that way than I am.
But naming the system is not naming the hand. And the hand is what actually hits. So when I blur the fist into the discourse, I'm telling myself, I'm being sophisticated. I'm seeing the bigger picture. I'm not. I'm flinching. I'm protecting myself from the cost of looking directly at who's swinging and what it would ask of me to swing back. And the ones with no comfort left to protect, they already know that name. They've always known it. I was the one that was pretending not to. So, Brandon, whose comfort are you protecting?
I mean, I used to protect my family's comfort, really, I guess, to make them not have to deal with confronting something that went against their beliefs and morals. Because partly it was kind of a, I don't know, I feel like partly it was an outnumbering kind of thing. Like, I'm the only one that feels this way. I'm the only one that's supporting myself, and everybody else is kind of against me, feels differently and believes differently. So I was kind of cowering to that, I guess. Trying to make it more comfortable for them to deal. And in some ways I still do, I guess. But I'm more trying to protect myself and live the way I want to, while not like putting it in their face or anything, Just like,
but you're living the way that you want to, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are things I want that I don't have, but
You're like a boy?
well, that would be one of them, yes.
But what else? I mean, really, at this point, Brandon, other than a relationship, what would make you the happiest?
I mean, money would help. I know money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure can make you comfortable while you're unhappy,
I try to be altruistic or whatever. I mean, I work for a public sector software firm, and that's not a high-paying job. It's fulfilling, but it's not a high-paying job. And it keeps me happy. But my writing and my daily effort that could be better. Support from others always helps. So I think all three of us are in that boat, whether we want to accept it or not. But yeah, I get it. That's why I randomly drop your links all over the fucking place, Brandon.
Well, I appreciate it.
I randomly advertise for you as often as possible. Miranda, what are you protecting?
Well, I mean, it used to be my family as well, protecting their comfort. Um, and looking back, it's like it's stark how long I did that. Because I started trying to express who I am whenever I was a kid, but they always shot it down. And, um, like I remember telling my mom, um, I don't want to be the little brother anymore. And the response to that was, um, to be told that, oh, we have this perfect little family with one little girl and one little boy, and you're the boy, and you have to, and then all the baggage that comes with those expectations. Um, so, you know, I lived for their comfort for a long time, to the point where it was destroying my life. And then I was like, no, this is my life, and I'm going to do it my way. So I do.
Didn't you have family visiting recently?
I did.
Not asking you to expound because, I know how triggers go, but did you experience any negative impacts?
No, my in-laws were actually behaved a lot better than I expected them to.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
So they're conservative Christian people, so um, they have theological opinions about who I am, but um, they were great. Um, Things were a little awkward with my dad, based on some harmful things he said to me last time my parents visited. Uh, so I just avoided being alone with him so he couldn't unload another round of I miss my son nonsense.
Yeah. When you said that before, Miranda, it was that was very, that was almost viscerally painful to me personally. Um, I've never had my father say that to me necessarily, but I've also had my father tell me, I will call you Wendy, but I am never calling you your daughter, my daughter. Okay, even for somebody as progressive as my father to say that, that still hurts.
Yeah.
I hate to use a quote, but and I hate to use this specific quote, but castration hurts, whether it's surgical, emotional, mental, or whatever, you know, and that's what that feels like. That feels like emotional castration. It feels like there's a cutting there. And when you experience that, it's painful and you have to, deal with that. I mean, whenever it's isolating, it's, it causes any number of negative feelings.
Yeah.
Um, and those feelings are valid. I mean, those are feelings I felt. I felt emotionally castrated when my father said, I will never call you my daughter. I will call you by your chosen name, but I will never call you X or Y or, whatever. It's like,
Yeah. It's like I'll do the thing that is polite and expected of me, but I won't do the thing that is really right.
versus both of my siblings, my brother Daniel and my sister Georgia. who, whenever I talk to them, they call me their sister. And they don't ever misgender me. They don't ever. And so from that generation of my family, I can expect that. And there's a comfort in that. But older generations of people, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Which goes right into the next bit, which is Jeanette Winterson's quote, "What you risk reveals what you value." Do either of you disagree with that?
No.
I wouldn't imagine. I wouldn't imagine that. Jeanette is asking you something plain and almost merciless. Not what you believe. Beliefs are cheap. Beliefs cost nothing at the door. It's what you risk. So there's a Portland ferry queer person who's stockpiling food for strangers just to risk their own comfort. The candidate who refuses to flatten their own voice risks the 7 points. You can read values straight off. Your risks the way you read a fever on a thermometer. And so then I ask myself, what did I risk today? I didn't risk anything in what I said. Saying is free. Saying costs nothing at the door. I can post the flag. I can say the words in the bio. I can perform belief on good days when it's safe. But this week, I wired money I didn't actually have to in the name to a name I'll never meet because they needed it more than I needed the cushion. This week I kept my voice in my own register on this broadcast even, instead of just sanding it down to a pitch that gets me believed faster or hassled less or clocked slower. When I went to breakfast at Waffle House yesterday, same difference. That's the thermometer reading, not my belief. You can read a person's values straight off their risks the way you read sickness off a thermometer. And the number doesn't lie even when the mouth does. A stranger watching only what I was willing to lose would learn more about what I love than a stranger listening to everything I ever claimed to be. So that's what I risked today. That's what I risked this week. That's what I've risked over the last 2 weeks. I risked revealing things to 2 people that I love very dearly. It's not end well. But I had to. I didn't have a choice. Because I love them. And because I care about them. And I still lost in the end. But that risk far exceeds anything in not taking that risk. And the fact of the matter is, I love both of those people still very much. And it hurts. It's painful. So, what did you risk this week, Miranda? What are you going to risk?
I don't even know.
Going to the coffee shop?
There now.
How many times in the week do you go to the coffee shop?
Like 2 or 3.
Only 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Only 2 or 3. I wish I had a coffee shop I could walk to. I can walk to a Waffle House. I can walk to, I shit you not, take one flight of stairs and I can walk to a package store and a smoke shop.
It's kind of surprising. Usually, coffee shops are everywhere, or at least a Starbucks somewhere close.
There is not a walking distance friendly coffee shop within
Wow.
the space. Yes, within the space that if they put a Starbucks or if they put an independent coffee shop across the street from where I live, like this building that you see behind you, because this area, the neighborhood that I live in, is going through gentrification.
So there will be a coffee shop at some point.
And so if there's a coffee shop in there, oh fuck yes, I'm walking over there. Oh hell yeah. Oh hell to the fucking yeah. Am I walking over there? Hell to the fucking yeah. Am I walking over there? But you know, just living and breathing is risking things at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just living and breathing is a risk in and all and of to in within itself. Well, that's heavy. That's really heavy. Oh, we might get Onyx to drop in. Are we gonna bet that Onyx makes an appearance?
I don't know. Her message is kind of vague.
I didn't see it.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Oh shit, I'm sorry. All right, well, while we're waiting to see if we see Onyx join, I'll go right into the next thing. And so, Andrea Gibson. Did you approve of my Andrea Gibson quote, Miranda?
Of course I did.
Okay.
It's always good to use their quotes.
I am not brave. I've just decided I'd rather be a question than an answer. The world is not ending. It's only changing its mind. And that was from her final collected work because she died last year. So Gibson, who died last year, knew the difference between hope and denial. The day cost something. A small, constant tax of staying awake, to walking to a ballot booth, to fighting against the slush fund, to pay a bunch of people who attacked the Capitol hundreds of millions of dollars because they were treated unfairly. Honest opinion, which of you honestly feels like any of those people were treated unfairly?
They got a get out of jail free card after all that they did, and a lot of them have since committed more criminal infractions. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Recidivism, the recidivism of people who were right, and like for the most fucked up shit, there's like 5 of the January 6th rioters got arrested for CSAM.
Mm-hmm. But this country has always paid reparations to the wrong people.
I mean, if we cared about reparations, why would we do that? I don't know. So my question for this was very, very cryptic.
Oh boy.
So the question is tonight: will I say a question or not? The answer to that is some nights I'm too tired to be unfinished. I want to be a box that's already checked. I want a thing in the world, you know, a thing in the world can look at and file and finally leave me alone. I don't want to have to do any more explaining. I don't want to have to do any more proving. No more arriving at every single morning to a self that won't hold still long enough to be believed. But what I've learned is that in my own skin, the answer they always want is a smaller room than a question that I actually am. And the sealed answer is a coffin with good lighting. They can close a fist around a definition. Man, woman, real, fake, before, after, man in a dress, whatever the fuck they want to say about me. But they can't close it around a woman still in the act of becoming. Because there's nothing finished there for them to hold on to. So when it hits me at 4 a.m. and I wake up and I'm breathing heavy and I can't sleep from the bad dreams, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a benzo person at night. I take my manufactured cannabis THC product before I go to bed, and then shortly thereafter I take a benzodiazepine, and I'm out. I'm gone. You can shake me, and I'm not gonna wake up. But the nightmares are always there. And when that happens, I make sure that it finds nothing that it can hold. So I stay the question, not because I'm brave, but because the question is the only room left where I'm still breathing, I'm still moving, and I still belong to myself. And that's the question. So, Brandon, are you going to remain a question, or are you going to let the world define and accept
What question?
Are you going to remain variable in your life, or are you going to let the outside world define you and accept it?
Well, I'm not going to let the world define me.
I would hope not.
I'm not sure I can even define myself, so.
Why not?
Sometimes I just don't know. I change from. I'm up in the air sometimes. I don't always know which way is up, which way I want to go.
Did you change this week in some dramatic or miraculous way?
Oh, not particularly. Sometimes I kind of, I think I have a handle on like depression and stuff like that, and then there are some days I realize, oh well, it's still there, but like.
The studio audience is here to support you.
Yeah, that's right. Aww. Well, I'll go back to the last question you asked, because since you didn't ask me, but
I got on a roll. Please. I would never purposely forget you, Brandon.
No. I just think it's funny because I was complaining.
Yeah, so
about
what did you risk this week?
I risked being vulnerable today when I put out my article about, because I was admitting to kind of reverting back to a little bit of depression, and to be vulnerable about that is kind of a risk. Partly because I write a lot of humor and satire and everything. Maybe people don't want to hear about my struggles about serious topics like depression or whatever, and maybe people would lose interest, but I try to be real, and so I think that's a risk.
Well, I mean, you're talking about send in the coyotes and drop the ceiling fan.
Yes, yeah, that one.
Yeah, I got to the part where you said I started writing a Substack note to express some of those feelings.
Yeah.
But I realized that as much as I had to say, it would probably hit character limit.
Yeah.
I posted a short one and then began this article.
Right.
Then I lay down underneath the fan of my living room hallway, willing it to become dislodged from the ceiling and fall on my head. That hit me really hard, Brandon.
It didn't hit me. It stayed up there.
Yeah, it stayed up there. The Jedi mind trick doesn't work on a ceiling fan, no matter how hard you will. The ceiling
And
fan.
no pack of coyotes or dingoes came out from the woods to get me, so I'm still here.
But probably the most powerful out of that was the very end. Sometimes you hope for things that don't work out. My expectations for last year's Pride Tour weren't met. It didn't stop me from enjoying it. And I'm disappointed that I couldn't do one this year, but I can't look at that as a failure. I simply recognize and accept that it's not what people want. It may also be about timing. Maybe next year, attitudes, motivation, finances change. Until then, I'll keep plugging away. I feel the same way. A large portion of my modal change was to embrace an entirely different audience. Here's the thing. That's a slow audience to build, but now that audience engages, and there's discussion that happens back and forth. And there's more discussion in that space now than I was having on Substack, and I have to fend off a lot less fucked up Nazi, transphobic, bigoted people in that space.
Yeah.
And so, there is a large vein of untapped queer individuals in that space. And the thing that the queer individuals in that space appreciate is the very thing that you're talking about, which is not AI written shit and not AI influenced shit, and just people just churning their writing, and then people talk about it. I mean, I had somebody in that space tell me today, you're doing good work, and just keep doing it and keep being persistent. I had to explain to somebody recently the difference between finality and perseverance. This is something that Brandon, I feel you could learn from this. So what finality says is, I don't want to be here. I want to lay on the floor and I want the fan to fall on my head. What perseverance says, however, is I'm tired of carrying this. I'm tired of carrying that weight. I don't want to carry this weight anymore. I'm not going to. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be real about what I'm feeling. Or I'm going to say, I'm depressed. And there's a reason why I'm depressed. And manifest that. Am I depressed? Yeah, I am. I lost two things that I loved very dearly. And am I depressed? Yes. My writing is as successful as it was. Do I do things to mitigate that? Sure, of course I do. Every Monday and Friday, I've decided to finally go back to just doing broadcasts at night again. Just because now I have the space and time. Did one last night and played a bunch of video games and was happy. That distracted my attention away. There was a lot of hilarity involved there, so it was positive. So, do I need help? Yeah, I do. But I'm not afraid to ask, and I'm not afraid to admit that I'm human. Again, that's a risk. I risk telling all of you that because there may not be a reward. And if there's not, that's okay. But I have to be honest about it. There was a period of time I was very disconnected. And in that disconnected state, I might experience so many emotional triggers. Like I went a week and I had like 100 and they were painful. And I was not talking to people about it or how it hurt or how it made me feel. And by not doing that, things got worse. And so it's better to live by one simple phrase. Never guess, always ask. Don't scan, always just receive. And keep breathing. If you guess something about somebody, the way somebody feels, the way somebody thinks, the way somebody processes, you're going to get it wrong. You might as well just ask. You might not like the answer, but at least in asking the person, you'll understand it. And then scanning. I'm a trans woman. I walk into a public space. I scan the room. I need to not do that. I just need to walk in the room and receive whatever the room gives. If I don't like what the room gives, I can leave the room. I can leave the room and go to the next room that's just like it. And by doing both of those things, then I become more likely to just keep breathing, which is what I want to do. I want to keep breathing because I want to live, even if some days it's harder than others because the depression's so bad. You probably can't tell, but the depression today was really hard, really painful, really difficult. So, but we'll see what happens when the night is over. Maybe nothing. Maybe something, maybe nothing else. I don't know. I really don't know. I had a cooking thing for you, Brandon. I was gonna tell you about it.
Beans?
No beans.
Oh.
Different type of legume, maybe.
Yeah, it's a pantry meal that I had a family member used to do for me when I was young. And the pantry meal is this: pasta, warm olive oil, garlic, a tin of anchovy or a spoon of miso, chili flakes, and half a lemon. So then now I beg to ask you, Brandon, which would you take, the anchovy or the miso?
I don't know if I've ever had miso.
What? You've never had miso soup before?
I don't think so. I mean, the only experience with anchovies is Caesar dressing.
Caesar dressing. Yeah, Caesar dressing.
But I've never had them like whole or on pizza or anything like that. Not like, I mean, I don't mind seafood. I'll eat fish, crab, lobster, but
so anybody in the audience is free to dispute me on this, but basically, so miso is salty, savory, with just a hint of sweet attached to it, because it's basically umami. So it has almost like, can't believe I'm going to say this. It almost has like a tangy, funky flavor. No, it does not taste like. I know immediately where your brain is going, and no, it just.
I recognize that description.
We're not making this sexual, okay?
I didn't say anything. I just said I recognize the description.
All right. I'm just saying. But basically, you toss the pasta. Then you throw the water. You throw in a handful of Parmesan. You mix everything else together, and that combination of flavor blasting is enough to feed a room full of 4 people. Versus the thing I did over the weekend, which was cooked chili. Oh, I have a great chili story, by the way. So here's my really killer chili story. So I went to make chili for the kids because the kids were here. And I make a con carne. So it's ground beef with appropriate seasonings and kidney beans. So I have the classic joy of cooking chili con carne. That it is almost exactly that recipe out of that book. I've done it so many times, but each time I season it in some random way that makes it different. I happen to be one of the very few people who puts garlic in her chili, so you can judge me for that. Where you are so inclined, Brandon. But here's the problem: my grocery delivery did not include tomato sauce, so I had to rush tomato sauce or basically run to the grocery store really fast while my ground beef was already browned. And so here's what happened. I basically left the ground beef going for an hour on very low. So it was still cooking, so to speak, in the kidney beans. And I didn't drain the kidney beans, so the kidney bean water was kind of coalescing between that. And here was the thing: it was one of the better crock pots of chili I've cooked in a while. Because instead of leaning on the crock pot to cook the chili, I just had it on low on the stove until I could get a can of tomato sauce. which proved to be very interesting. So, are
Well,
you
maybe
doing any?
you should forget the tomato sauce more often. And
Yeah, maybe I should forget the time, or not so readily rush to grab the tomato sauce.
yeah,
Not so readily rush to grab the tomato sauce. So, are you doing any cooking shows this week, Brandon?
I don't very often plan them, but I mean I try to do one a week. I didn't do one this last weekend. I usually do it like closer to the weekend, but I didn't do one this past weekend.
I guess you'll have to do 2.
Oh yes,
Me too.
I don't know. Well, the other thing is I don't like. I'll make stuff, but like yesterday I made some like sweet potato hash with scrambled eggs and some leftover ricotta cheese that I had. But I didn't do it on video because I was like, I've already made that on video once before, and I'm like, I don't want to repeat something that I've already done. And the other thing is, if I make something like a cake or whatever, I can't eat all that myself. I've got to do something with it and either freeze it or I don't know, take it somewhere and give it some of it to somebody else or something. And then there's all the ingredients I got to buy for them, everything. So I don't know. There's just lots involved in doing a cooking thing every week.
Yeah, but I love seeing you naked in an apron.
Well,
I love seeing you naked in an apron.
I need to find something. I actually, what I should do is I have a recipe for a depression cake. I should make that since that would be
Depression cake?
appropriate. Yeah.
Are we talking the cake you eat when you're depressed or depression era cake?
Well, I can't say for
or
sure
both.
because yeah, right, yeah. Because the recipe, the name of it just says depression cake, so you can take that however you want it, I guess.
That's the thing about. I swear, you and Dylan Hollis were just separated at birth. Because that's all Dylan B. Hollis does is dig up old pre-1970 baking shit, bakes it, and then brazenly, like, so, are you familiar with the term mukbanging?
With what? Muck? What?
Mukbanging.
No.
So mukbanging
I've
is
heard that in a long time.
yeah. So mukbanging is a Korean thing, and here's what it is. It's a social media phenomenon where a person is preparing food, and there's asmers, like the sound of chopping happens during the video, and at the end of the video, the mukbanger eats all of the prepared food.
Oh.
Like all of it. Yeah. And so it's how, like, the Zach Choi, look up Zach Choi. He's on TikTok. He's on, I think, YouTube or whatever. But that's his whole shtick is make this crazy something this big, and then he eats all of it. That's what Dylan B. Hollis does. He cooks the recipe from 1921, and then in the end, he eats it. He eats it, and half the time it's, oh my God, this is horrible. I would never eat this. Or, oh my God, this is surprisingly good, and I have no idea why.
Well, I usually do at least taste what I make when I'm on the video, and so I can tell everybody, yeah, this works. This was good. But
I'm not opposed to making old recipes.
Well, that's what I've been doing lately. I've made several recipes from this cookbook I found. It's a bicentennial cookbook, and this year, of course, it's 50 years old. So I figured this would be a good time to do some recipes from it. It'd be kind of cool to bring those up. So the depression cake is one of the things I found in this recipe book, bicentennial cookbook.
Well, I would certainly be interested to hear about your experience. I brazenly love the Dylan B. Hollis videos. Every time I see him live and he's not cooking, he's actually like making. The other thing he does is he plays piano really well. And so whenever I see him live and he's playing piano, I'm like, no, I want to watch him cook shit. Because that's what he does really well. And so
well, here's the depression cake.
So what's in the depression cake? Now I want to know.
A cup of sadness. No. Brown sugar, water, vegetable shortening, raisins, nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, salt, baking soda, and flour.
That is surprisingly simplistic.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's pretty basic. I mean, the cloves, I don't think I ever put cloves in a cake usually, but it's more for like pumpkin pie or sweet potato something, or I don't know.
I only ever use cloves. Here's what you use cloves for. You buy a Cure 81 ham, plug it full of cloves, and then pour Coca-Cola over it and cook it. That's what cloves are for. Certainly somebody else is going to tell me what other value they have.
A lot of people don't use them because a little bit goes a long way, and some people don't like cloves. I think they're fine, but they're often used in pumpkin pie or different kinds of, maybe even apple pie. I don't know. There's some kinds of pies that have cloves in them, but I very rarely use them. But I don't mind the taste of it.
The taste, nor the smell, nor
the aroma is good.
It's an enjoyable. I think it's an enjoyable experience.
So I might be making depression cake this week. Wah wah.
Well, I want to hear about your experience. So please share.
I will.
Please share. Well, we're right at about the hour mark for the afternoon, per the usual. Do you have anything to close out, Brandon?
Happy Pride. I posted a video of my pride tree. I put it on Substack, but I posted it on TikTok, and it's got more likes than any other video I've put on TikTok. So that's pretty good.
How many likes are you up to?
Oh, it's. I mean, with me, I don't get all that many, but it's like 110 likes or something like that. Sometimes I get a lot of views, but not actual likes. You know what I mean? Like,
I've only had one video go to 1,000 likes, and that's as viral as TikTok has ever allowed me to go.
Yeah, I have like, I don't know, like 50 followers or something like that. So I don't have a huge following on TikTok, but some of my like my interview with a clip from my interview with Onyx Rose about FFS, that's had the most views, and it's got like 4,000 something. But but it's still not. There's still not a lot of actual likes on these videos. But this one, for some reason, I mean, I've gotten,
You're up to
like,
120 likes because I just liked it.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You should clean you should clean up the comment section though. You got some haters in there.
Oh,
Oh.
are there hater comments? I hate those.
Yeah, there was one that was like, I think one was just a picture of an axe or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then one was like,
I'm sure
meme.
whoever posted that feels like a big boy now.
Yeah, it's like,
American TikTok is slowly turning into American Twitter, which is about as transphobic as American YouTube, but who's counting, right? Who's counting? Miranda, anything to close?
No, nothing really.
Well, look, you carry it all with you now. The burning boats, the welcome bags, the senators counting, and the witches who are stockpiling. The world is a very heavy place, and none of us, not me, not Miranda, not Brandon, Onyx, not Sarah, not Kira, not anybody, were ever meant to lift it alone. Only your own corner, and to find others that are lifting theirs at the same time. So the longest day is coming, and we all walk toward it the way the river walks towards the sea. We just trust that the next bend will hold us. And so to my co-hosts and to everyone else, I ask you to be warm, be brave, and come back again, because we all care. So, okay. Miranda, Brandon, thank you both, as always. Next Friday.
yep.
I think so.
Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, come on. Goodbye, everybody. Go on, Brandon.